Edge at 11 starts now.
Tonight on The Edge, he made a name for himself as a Detroit Tiger and then as a sports broadcaster. But tonight, Craig Monroe is out of the broadcasting booth.
A woman in Florida claims they started having a sexual relationship when she was a young child. Fox News' Jessica Dupneck joins us live with more on these very serious allegations. Jessica.
Well, we spoke with Craig Monroe's accuser several times today at length. That's when she detailed some very disturbing encounters, sexual assaults that she says started when she was just 12 years old and Craig Monroe was in his early 20s that apparently went on for years. Now, we did make multiple attempts to get a hold of Mr. Monroe earlier today. He did not get back with us in time for this story. This is what we know so far. Sports broadcaster and former Detroit Tiger 47-year-old Craig Monroe off the air indefinitely. We have confirmed with sources close to the situation that he was taken off the broadcast schedule hours after a woman took to social media, then police last month, saying Monroe sexually assaulted her for years, starting when she was 12 years old and he was in his early 20s. We spoke at length by phone with the accuser, who is a 35-year-old woman we will call Bree. She wants to stay anonymous. Her family was Monroe's host family when he played minor league baseball in Charlotte County, Florida in the early 2000s. She tells us it started with Monroe coming into her room to fondle her, escalated from there, and eventually led to intercourse when she was 15 years old. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office tells Fox 2, quote, "This is an active investigation and anyone with information is asked to come forward." The accuser, Bree, says once she turned 18, there was an ongoing consensual sexual relationship between her and Monroe, but he would, quote, prostitute her to his friends and acquaintances. Bally Sports and the Detroit Tigers released a joint statement that says in part, Mr. Monroe has not been on the broadcast schedule and that will continue on an indefinite basis. We will have no further comment and any questions should be directed to Mr. Monroe. He played with the Tigers for more than 5 seasons, including during their World Series run in 2006. He's been with the Tigers as a broadcaster since 2012. Again, we reached out to Monroe multiple times. He did not get back in time for this story. Now, his accuser in this case, who we called Bree in this story, she said that she waited this long to come forward because she was protecting her family and herself, knowing just how public this would become. We will continue to stay in contact with the police down in Florida regarding this case, and we'll update you as it comes. Reporting live downtown Detroit, Jessica Dupneck on The Edge.
And to be clear, Jessica, this case is still under investigation, and Mr. Monroe, he is not in custody at this point, and we are still waiting for comment from him on this.
Absolutely, Taryn. Of course, this is still in the, I would say, preliminary phases of the investigation. However, the Tigers and Bally's taking this allegation seriously, at least to remove him off the schedule indefinitely, but absolutely very early. He is not in custody, no charges at this point.
I wonder if they're looking at possibly any other victims coming forward, so we'll have to see how this shakes out. Jessica, thank you.
Well, police chase in Warren ends with an innocent life loss. A car speeding away from police crashes, killing a single mother of 2.
It happened in the early morning hours over the weekend, and Fox News' Dave Spencer was at the scene of the crime in Madison Heights.
This security video captures the final moments of a police pursuit from Warren into Madison Heights. It shows 2 Dodge Chargers heading west on 10 Mile from Warren past DeQuinder into the Heights. Warren police in pursuit. The video was captured by Class A collision located directly across from the crash scene. A second video shows the aftermath, one of the Dodge Chargers colliding with a Jeep Cherokee. According to Warren police, the passenger in that Jeep was a 42-year-old woman who died from her injuries. The driver of the Jeep and 2 others in the Charger were taken to the hospital. According to police, so was the driver of that Charger, who is still awaiting charges relating to this crash. We're told a total of 3 Chargers were drag racing in Warren at around 1:30 Saturday morning. Officers on patrol spotted the racing cars and attempted to pull them over. According to Warren police, the pursuit lasted around 3 minutes. As for the 42-year-old victim, a GoFundMe page has been set up. It describes Katrina Schuker as a single mother of 2 boys, ages 14 and 18 years old, who was being driven home by a friend when this all happened. A friend of the victim is trying to raise money to cover memorial and funeral costs for her. Warren police say a total of 3 Dodge Chargers were involved in the initial drag racing, which prompted all of this. Obviously, the one Dodge Charger involved in the crash here, the second one, we're told, turned himself into police. Police are still looking for the driver, though, of that 3rd Dodge Charger. In Madison Heights, Dave Spencer, on The Edge.
I've been in the area, so you got one opponent from a cell tower many in this area around this time of something that happened. I don't know what happened. I just always was checking car doors and taking pictures of cars. That's it.
In his own words, on the 11th day of the murder trial of Jewish leader Samantha Wool, the jury hears the interrogation of her suspected killer, Michael Jackson Bolanos, telling detectives that he was in the area breaking into cars, but says he never broke into a home and he didn't kill Wool. He admitted to running away when he saw a security officer in the area. The jury was shown a photograph of the defendant's black North Face jacket. Investigators say the victim's blood was found on it.
A guilty plea in the horrific kidnapping and murder of 2-year-old Wynter Cole-Smith. It was this time last year an Amber Alert was issued for the toddler who had been abducted by her mother's former boyfriend in Lansing. Her body was later found in an alley on Detroit's east side. By pleading guilty to first-degree murder, 27-year-old Rashad Trice will spend the rest of his life behind bars without the possibility of parole. He previously pleaded guilty to federal charges of kidnapping resulting in death, sparing the family from having to hear horrific details during a trial.
Well, the Milan mud bath on Saturday was interrupted by a severe storm.
4 people at the event were victims of a lightning strike. Fox 2's Dave Kinchin reports.
I spoke with one of the victims off camera. They told me by phone they still feel some numbness and tingling. They went to go get tacos, and next thing they knew, they were on the ground being helped up. They say they still have some memory issues following this ordeal. This man you're about to meet, he's pretty shaken up too.
The ground shook bad. I don't know if the ground shook or I shook while I was standing on the ground.
Ryan Kilpatrick is extra thankful for his life today, having come alarmingly close to a lightning strike that hit at least 4 people during an outdoor festival in Milan this past weekend.
Just a flash of the light. Next thing you know, your ears are ringing. You got a big white flash that's stuck in front of your face for a while, and there's nothing you can do after that. You just got to blink it out and find out where everybody went. That was one of the biggest problems, is trying to find out where everybody took off to.
Officials with the Milan Area Fire Department say they were working the Milan Dragway's first annual mud bash when lightning struck at a concert that came right after the main event.
Everything else was done and over with, so nobody else was racing or anything. They all had the cars pulled up. It looked like a drive-in theater for the concert.
Fire officials say 2 of the victims were transported to U of M Hospital for treatment. Kilpatrick is friends with one of the survivors.
I reached out to him this morning, and he's in pretty good spirits. He's still waiting for his superpowers, so he's hoping he can shoot electricity from his fingers like Palpatine from Star Wars.
Witnesses say they only saw 1 lightning strike, but it was enough to freak many people out. Fire officials say all of the victims are expected to be okay.
The 4 people that got struck, if they would have hit a little bit more even directly or just lingered for even a fraction of a second more, that would have been 4 corpses instead of 4 people going home.
And fire officials say the 2 victims who were hospitalized were released from the hospital after being observed and monitored overnight. In Milan, Dave Kinchin on The Edge.
All right, it was a bit of a weird weather weekend, but we're hoping for improvement as it goes on for the holiday.
We want a warm-up. At least that's what people are saying. I liked it today, but I know people want warmer weather for 4th of July.
Well, we're getting there. It was sticky. It was warm on Saturday, and then Sunday it was noticeably windy and cooler. Now we have high pressure parked over the region. You can see active weather out over Nebraska, parts of the Dakotas, and eventually Wednesday some of that comes our way. For the time being, it's all quiet out there. Look at this. Hurricane Beryl winds 160 miles per hour as of the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center. Category 5 storm. Thankfully, over the next 36 hours, it's going to be affecting no land areas, but by Wednesday afternoon, it's going to be just south of Jamaica. We'll be watching that closely around here. 75 for high today, 70 Escanaba, close to 80 up in Alpena. There are the numbers, 75 and 53. It continues to cool off tonight, 52 Ann Arbor, 64 Mount Clemens, 62 in Howe. Not much of a breeze out there. Certainly a lot of green on the map, so it's cool all across the Great Lakes region. There's your hot spot, Dallas at 92. For us, high pressure gives way, and that'll allow our next cold front to sweep in Wednesday with a couple of scattered thunder showers. We do not have severe weather in the forecast. Comfortable tonight, down to 59, back to 81 tomorrow with more clouds, and then it is going to get warmer starting Wednesday, lasting through the weekend. Again, a few storm chances over the end of the week group. We'll check it for you at 4 a.m.
All right, thanks so much, Rich. Well, take a look at this. A driver runs right into a 7-Eleven in Woodhaven. Boom, there it goes. Crash happened at Allen Road and Vreeland this morning. You can see the collision rocks the building after impact. Luckily, nobody was seriously hurt. Police say the driver was taken to the hospital just as a precaution.